Hello and welcome to today's video. So in this video, it's quite an exciting one. This is just a big book haul. I have purchased way too many books now, like actually way too many books. I've got 22 books to show you in this video, and I've now officially gone way over, like more than double what I wanted to have purchased by this time this year. So if you don't know, one of my goals for my 2022 reading and book year is I'm only buying one book for every 3 that I read. Well, that hasn't happened. I've read 43 books so far this year at the time of filming this, and I've purchased 39. So I've still read more than I've purchased, but I'm trying to lower my TBR. Which, at least I'm not adding to it, you know. I'm trying to still see the positives, but I really need to get that number back on track. So I've decided for the entirety of April, I'm not allowed to buy any book. If there's a book that I really want to read, I can write it down. And if I still feel like as passionately about it at the end of April, I'll allow myself to buy it. But for all of April, we're not buying any books at all. So with that being said, I thought it was about time to haul all of these because there's quite a lot of them. So I've kind of split them basically into 4 because I've only been book shopping 4 times, and yeah, they are now basically just split into when I purchased them. Starting with this pile here, you may have seen snippets of these in vlogs, but I didn't properly haul them. So yeah, this was from going to Worcester only a couple of weeks back. I've got 5 books, so I will start with the 2 that I got out of charity shops first. So very excitingly for me, I picked up Midnight Bites, and this is Tales of Morganville. I didn't know this was even a book. I knew there were a lot. Right, so I should stop. This is one of the Morganville Vampire like books, and I own all the books. I'm over halfway through reading them. I think there's 15, 16, something like that. And I'm at the point now where the ones I'm reading now, I think I'm on book 9. Yeah, book 9 now. And I've got to the point where the ones I'm now reading, I'm reading for the first time. Whereas to start off with reading these, they were rereads. I'd read them when I was younger, loved the series, thought it was absolutely amazing, and I'm loving it this time around as well. And when you go on Goodreads, I often see that there's like loads of short stories and bits and pieces, but I didn't realise that it was actually in a book. So in the contents it says in order of the timeline within the series. So you've got Miriam's Tale, Nothing Like an Angel, Sam's Story, Grudge, New Blood, The First Day of the Rest of Your Life, Amelia's Story, Wrong Place, Wrong Time, Dead Man's Talking, Lunch Date, All Hallows, Murdered Out, Worth Living For, Drama Queen's Last Dance, Vex, Signs and Miracles, Anger Management, Automatic, Dark Rides, Pitch Black Blues, A Whisper in the Dark, and One for the Devil. So there's loads of short stories, and I'm honestly just really happy that I found this. I found it in a charity shop. It was £1.95, and honestly when I saw it, it made my day. It was amazing. So I'm going to read this when I've read all the other books, just because I don't know where exactly these fall into them. But yeah, really happy I found this one because I didn't even know it existed, and it's in a world that I absolutely love. So very happy. Then also in a charity shop, I found this. This is Hound of the Baskervilles by Arthur Conan Doyle, and I paid £1 for this. It was such a pretty copy. I really like this edition of it, and I looked, and Penguin English Library have quite a few of the Sherlock Holmes stories in like pretty editions that look nice together, and this cost £1. And I think Hound of the Baskervilles is a story I'm most familiar with when it comes to Sherlock Holmes, because I think there's a movie made that I watched when I was like a teenager, child, something like that. But honestly, I'm not really familiar with any of these stories, and it is something that I would really like to get into. So that is that. On the back it does say that this is perhaps the best loved one. So I don't know if I'm like ruining it for myself with starting with what's potentially the best, but I don't know. This is the one I want to read, and I picked it up, and it was £1. Then I was in Waterstones, because I don't have a super local Waterstones, so I don't feel too bad going in and paying full price for books when I do go to a main bookstore. They technically only actually pay full price, but we'll get into that. So I picked up Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. I have no idea what this is about and I don't want to know. The Red Queen series was one of my favourite series that I read last year. I binged it so quickly, it was so much fun, and this is by the same author. It's a new world, it's a new like whole system and everything, I believe, but I think it's going to be a great time, and I already know I love the author's writing, I already know that I like the style, and I already know that I've really enjoyed this big story that this author has put out before, so I'm really willing to get into another world and try it again. Book 2 of this series is out at the moment, but only in hardback from what I can see, and I think it's going to be a trilogy. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. I could be wrong honestly on that one, don't quote me. Then I also picked up Gilded by Marissa Meyer. This is the same author as the Cinder series, which is a series I still haven't finished, but I have read the first 3 books, I think, maybe even 4, a good few years ago now, 5-6 years ago or something. Really enjoyed them. I want to reread them at some point and finish the series, but I know, again, I really like the writing style, I really enjoyed the story. This is a new world, this is completely different, and I think this might be a standalone, and it's a Rumpelstiltskin reimagining, which I've never read any of before. I don't really know that much about anyway, so I think it should be a good time. And yeah, I'm really excited to get into this one as well, so I picked it up. And these last 2 were on the buy one get one half price, so they were £8.99 each, but like one of them I got for half price essentially, so yeah. And then I also picked up The Hating Game because there's so much hype at the moment. When there's hype around like romance books, I don't normally care about it, I don't normally pick up on it, but quite a few people now who I watch on YouTube, and I know I have a similar taste to in terms of like the normal books that I read, like fantasy, sci-fi, just like the normal sort of books that I read I have a similar taste to, have also recently read this and like rated it 4 or 5 stars. So yeah, I'm giving into the hype. I'm going to give it a go. It's an extremely hype book, but having said that, I'm not expecting that much because it's not the sort of book I tend to like, and I had Waterstones points, so I use those. Then one day, about 3 weeks ago now, just went into a couple of towns over, went to one charity shop and somehow picked up all of these. I don't know how it happened honestly. Sometimes when you're in a charity shop and there's just so many good deals, you just have to get them all. You just had to get them all. So I did, I got them all. I'm the worst person to go book shopping with because I will just enable you, so yeah, just get them all. When it comes to a charity shop, get them all because you're only paying a little bit. So first up we have A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. This is one that I've really wanted to read since reading Station 11. A lot of the Shakespeare elements in Station 11 were based on A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I've never read it, so I picked it up. Let's get the reading journal out and I can tell you exactly how much I paid for it. This was £1.80, but yeah, it also matches. I only own one of a Shakespeare book, but it's the same edition, so yeah, I think that's quite cool. I know very little about this except for what I know from Station 11, which was just like one scene of it realistically that they did. So I'm going into it pretty blind because what's the point in potentially spoiling a classic now if you don't have to. I also picked up Virginia Woolf, A Room of One's Own. I've never read any Virginia Woolf. It's one that I would really like to get into, and this is about female creativity, the role of writers, and the silent fate of Shakespeare's imaginary sister remains a powerful reminder for a woman's need for financial independence and intellectual freedom. And it just sounds really interesting, and obviously this was wrote a while ago now. I mean, the author died in 1941, so I don't know when this was written before then. 1928, so I think it will also be interesting to see how these same like concepts and ideas that were being spoken about back then, which almost 100 years ago now, like 96, years ago. That was very quick math. It could be wrong, but yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how they apply to today's world. Are they still necessary in today's world? Has it changed? Has it still the same? All that. So I'm excited about it. Then next up, I picked up Death of a Naturalist. This is a collection of poetry, and I had a different one of these Faber and Faber poetry books, read it and loved it. So when I saw another one in a charity shop, I thought I'd pick it up. Honestly, I'm just going to keep my eye out for all of these, obviously assuming this one's good as well. Maybe the first one was a fluke, but I enjoyed it. And yeah, this was first published in 1966. I know very little about it except for it is a poetry collection, and I really enjoy poetry, so I picked it up. Then, you know how I said sometimes you just have to encourage yourself to pick everything up? Maybe this is one that I shouldn't have, but I did. This is Prodigy by Marie Lu. I will not be reading the back of this because this is book 2 in a series. When I picked it up, I knew it was book 2 in a series, but because it was a series I was interested in, I thought I'd just pick it up anyway, and at some point I'd find book 1, which I still stand by, but I'm definitely running out of space. I can't read the back or like hype myself up about it because I don't want to spoil or potentially spoil book 1. So yeah, this is book 2 of a series by Marie Lu, so I picked it up. I also picked up Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. I know very little about this except for what I've read on the back, therefore I shall read the back. You don't see her, but she sees you. Midnight in an era of urban wasteland, where cats hunt and foxes shriek, a girl is watching. When Sapphire Maddox was 10, something terrible happened, and she's carried the pain of it ever since. The man she thought was going to heal her didn't, and now she hides, learning his secrets, invisible in the shadows. Owen Pick is invisible too. He's never had a girlfriend, he's never even had a friend. Nobody sees him, nobody cares. But when Sapphire goes missing from the opposite his house on Valentine's night, suddenly the world seems to be watching Owen, accusing him, holding him responsible for Sapphire's disappearance. It sounds interesting. I want to say I like thrillers, but honestly I don't read them enough and I want to get into them, so I've picked it up. I'm hoping it's going to be a spooky, scary, thrilling mystery time. Then I found 2 pretty copies of old books. So we've got A Group of Noble Dames by Thomas Hardy and The Hand of Alphaberta by Thomas Hardy. I love these old like leather bound looking books. I don't know if they are real leather or not. I'm okay with it because I buy it second hand. I won't buy leather now new because I don't agree with it, but second hand, it's already out there, it's already in the world. That's that, let's move past it. But yeah, I really love the look of these and I own quite a few now. I'm getting like a little collection of these old classic books. When I see them in charity shops, I just pick them up. I've never paid more than £2. These were £1.80 each. And you can see a few of them here and here, and I've never paid more than £2. I'm just slowly collecting them. Obviously these are all classics that I want to read. If I end up at a later date deciding I don't want to read them, I'm no longer interested in them for whatever reason, I will get rid of them. But I really hope that I do end up reading all of these classics that I have like this, because I just think it will make such a cute like bookshelf and something that I really want. Like, I own a lot of classics, this entire shelf is classics, but owning them when they're this pretty just makes it feel so much nicer. So that's what I did. I don't know anything about either of these. When I was in the shop I looked them up on Goodreads, but I can't remember now. And I don't like spoiling myself, even if it doesn't feel like spoiling myself, sometimes a synopsis is enough. So yeah, these are those. Okay, and then these next ones I'm going to go through super quickly. If you want a more detailed or in-depth description, I will link the video up above where I actually purchased them because I recorded these. I got all of these when I was doing a book shopping video using prompts that had been given to me on Instagram. So I'm literally just going to show these. I'm not going to go into detail, I'm just going to show them and that'll be that. If you want more information, the video is linked. Vampire Rights by Darren Shan. Sons of the Oak by David Farland. Vampire War by Darren Shan. Dry by Neil Schusterman and Jared Schusterman. Innocent Mage by Karen Miller. The Awakened Mage by Karen Miller. And yeah, picked all of these up during that video. I'm really excited about all of them. I picked them all up for different reasons, but yeah, I think they're all going to be a lot of fun and I'm really, really excited to read them all. And then, last but not least, just this last weekend, I went book shopping in my local town, which is the first time I've been book shopping in quite a while. So, I picked up some books and I'm really excited about them. So, first up, I picked up The Duke and I. This is the first book in the Bridgerton sibling series. I've watched the TV show. I've watched the TV show for both seasons now, so yeah. I think before season 3, which I don't know when or even if we get in, I would like to be caught up on the books. I prefer consuming things in like written word first and then watching adaptations. But honestly, when I watched season 1, I didn't think I was going to enjoy this show. So I didn't care about reading it because I didn't think I'd enjoy the book either. But now I want to read them. So yeah, if you haven't read or watched this, I don't know how best to explain it, to be honest. There's 8 siblings. They all have their own, what I'm presuming, I don't know, I've only watched season 1 and 2, but I'm presuming every sibling is getting their own love story. Maybe not, maybe not. Could be a friendship, could be something else, but I'm pretty sure every book, there's 8 books in the series, is the sibling that the book is looking at. So for instance, book 1 we've got Daphne and their love story and meeting their significant other and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's what this series is really about, and this is book 1, but it's sibling 4, and they don't necessarily go in order of like age or anything, it's just chronologically correct, I think. Don't quote me on it, but yeah, really excited to read this. Then I picked up Sabriel by Garth Nix. I've heard a lot about this, and I think a new book in this series, or prequel series maybe, something like that, is coming out at some point. Or maybe they just got a cover redesign or something, I don't know. But I've been hearing a lot about this book recently, so when I saw it in a charity shop for £1.50, I picked it up, honestly. I know very little about it. I haven't even read the back. That might be stupid of me, I don't know. If you would like to read the back, then feel free to do so. You can pause the video now and read the description. But for me, I'm just leaving it. I don't know what it's about, but I know it's magical, it's fantasy. I know there's quite a few books in the series, and I've heard many good things. I'm also pretty sure it's like witches and wizards, I think. Mages. So yeah, like that sort of vibe. But yeah, that is that one. Then I also found Darkness on the Edge of Town. This is the second book in the Stranger Things books. I read book 1 last year. Can't remember the name of it right now. It was a different author as well. I can remember the author for book 1 was Gwenda Bond, I think. And this is a different author. This is Adam Christopher. But essentially they follow, if you've watched Stranger Things, the TV show, obviously like they're not based on books, that's its own show, it's its own thing. But certain characters in the show don't really have much backstory, or we don't know anything about, or maybe it's just like characters we've heard mentions of. So book 1, I don't want to give too much away because I can't remember how much you find out from the blurb, but essentially book 1, we follow someone who we meet in the show, but we literally have one meeting with them in the show, but they're quite a significant character in terms of their backstory, but we don't know their backstory. So book 1 was about their backstory. Book 2 is about Jim Hopper, which is quite a big character in the show, but this is in 1984 and 1977. So I think it like flips back and forth between like what's going on in the show and then like things from his past. I don't really know, but book 1 was really good, so I thought I'd give book 2 a chance. Then this was it's one of those moments that I just wish I had proof of, because we walked into this big charity shop in town. I walked up the stairs and my boyfriend was with me. He doesn't always come shopping with me to like the shops that I can just walk to. And I was like, I don't normally look in this first section because it's just like sports and transportation and biographies. And I went, but actually, to be fair, I have been wanting to keep an eye out for Michelle Obama's book, Becoming. And we walked into the biography section and sat there on the shelf was Becoming by Michelle Obama. I was like, well, this is a sign, now I have to buy it, so I brought it. This is a, I don't know if you call it a memoir because she's quite young. I feel like memoirs are normally done like before they die. No, it is called a memoir. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's essentially a biography about Michelle Obama and her life. A lot of like childhood and growing up, but then I think we do also get up to present day by the looks of it. Yeah, so from start of life to present day essentially is what we're looking at. There's a few pictures in the middle by the looks of it, just like a little section of pictures. But yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. I've heard it's a really good read, a really interesting read, and a really impactful read. And I'm pretty confident that the audiobook is also available for this from my library. So I think I'm going to consume it that way because Michelle Obama herself narrates the audiobook. So I think that'll be a great way to consume it along with reading along with it. So yeah, that is the last book. So those are all of the books that I've purchased recently, and honestly I'm really happy with them all. I definitely need to go on a book buying ban. I definitely do not need to be buying this amount of books. It's quite ridiculous and I am very aware of it, but when there's a bargain I struggle to say no. So that is how we've got here. But yeah, this will probably be the last book haul for a while, probably at least 2 months, maybe even 3, because I am doing a very strict no book buying during April. So there'll be no new books in April. And I'm hoping even if I do buy books in May, it'll just be 1 or 2, which won't be enough for a haul. So yeah, I will do another book haul the next time one is necessary, honestly. So yeah, fingers crossed. Or I don't know, I love watching these videos, so it's difficult to say. Hopefully it won't be for a long time because I enjoy this. I enjoy hauling books, but I do need to stop. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we won't have a haul. Maybe I should do an unhaul next. I do have quite a few books that I need to give a serious thought and consideration to. So maybe that's the way we go with it and do flip it on its head. But yeah, anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed the video. Do give it a like if you liked it. Subscribe down below if you'd like to see more content like this. And hopefully, I will see you next time. Bye.